to the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Conley as Norman Harrington.
A promise to the dead is sometimes more binding than a commitment to the living. Stella Chernak has bound herself to her father. She has sworn under oath that Rodney Harrington threatened to kill her brother. And now, Dr. Michael Rossi must unwillingly add substance to that lie.
At approximately what time did you arrive at the Chernak house?
It was around noon.
Who was present?
Stella Chernak and Rodney Harrington.
Just one more question, Doctor. Was it chance that brought you to the Chernak home that day?
No, I was Gus Chernak's doctor.
Up until the time of his death?
Yes.
Thank you. Your witness?
Dr. Rossi, did you know Rodney Harrington prior to the day in question?
Yes, actually, he was the first person I met in Peyton Place. He met my train the night I came in.
Would you say you've grown to know him well since that time?
Yes?
Well enough to tell when he's angry or distraught or out of control?
Yes, I think so.
How would you describe the accused?
I would say he was a bright, normal, level-headed young man.
Level-headed?
Yes.
That day in the Chernak home, how did he appear to you?
Objection. Calls for a conclusion on the part of the witness.
Your Honor, the doctor is qualified to draw such conclusions.
Objection overruled.
Would you please answer the question?
Yes, I would say he was normal, a little tense, too.
Was Rodney Harrington shouting?
No.
Did he speak incoherently?
No.
Did you see him threaten Stella Chernak in any way?
No, I did not.
But Miss Chernak testified that just a few short minutes before you arrived, the accused was, and I quote, boiling with anger. Did you see any evidence of that anger?
No.
Then how do you suppose Miss Chernak could testify that Rodney Harrington was boiling with anger?
Objection. Calls for a conclusion the witness is not qualified to make.
Sustained.
These past months, you have worked closely with Miss Chernak, is that correct?
Yes.
Have you seen her socially?
Yes, I have.
Would you say that you've had more than a passing acquaintance with her?
Yes.
Well, with this more than passing acquaintance, how did Stella Chernak appear to you that day in question?
I would say from outward appearances, she appeared normal, too. She maybe was a little tense, also.
When you entered the room, did she run to you for protection?
No.
Did she ask you help?
No.
Did she appear helpless, hysterical, frightened in any way?
No.
Then when you entered the Chernak house, you found two relatively untroubled, normal people.
Yes.
But you did not actually hear this alleged threat.
No, I did not.
Then what you know of the accused and what you saw that day, do you believe that 6 hours later he could have continued in this unsubstantiated, violent frame of mind and killed Joe Chernak?
Objection, Your Honor. Question's incompetent. It calls for a conclusion on the part of the witness. I move the question be stricken from the record.
Objection sustained. Strike that question from the record.
No further questions.
You may step down, Dr. Rossi.
Your Honor, the people would like to recall Stella Chernak to the stand.
Objections. Stella Chernak has already been called to the stand.
Your Honor, in the interest of justice, Miss Chernak has more to contribute for a fair and complete understanding of this case.
You're overruled, Mr. Cord. Proceed, Mr. Fowler.
Stella Chernak to the stand.
What's he want her back for? I'm not sure. Apparently to score a point with Dr. Rossi.
Miss Chernak, you are still under oath.
Miss Chernak, you've heard Dr. Rossi testify that he found the defendant in an apparently controlled state of mind. Can you explain that?
Yes. He made the threat against Joey before the doctor drove up. Then when he heard the car, he pushed past me to the window. Then when he turned around, he had a strange kind of smile on his face. I didn't understand it then. But then I heard a knock on the door, and I let Dr. Rossi in.
And the defendant deliberately prepared a bland, non-committal face for the doctor's benefit?
Yes.
And as Dr. Rossi already testified, he was still tense. He couldn't completely hide the emotion it took to make such a threat.
Objection.
I withdraw the question. Miss Chernak, why didn't you ask Dr. Rossi for his help?
I was too confused. I was too frightened to think clearly.
Well, I can certainly understand how you felt, Miss Chernak. Thank you.
You are excused, Miss Chernak.
Sick. Guess I'm gonna have to quit my job.
I wouldn't.
Would you rather see me get fired?
It's the lesser of two evils.
It's a matter of opinion.
If you resign now, do you know how it'll look? As if you couldn't face Rossi after today. People will be very quick to believe that.
I don't care what people think.
The trial isn't over. If Rossi wants to fire you, that's his decision. Let him make it. Don't quit, Miss Chernak. You're on the winning side.
All right, good. No, no. Now, put your weight on your left leg.
Try.
There, that's good. Now, I want you to try and take a step. And think about the movement in your leg. Yes, there we go.
You see, I can't even walk. I can't step on it. I've lost the whole thing in my left side.
Are you all right now?
I'm sorry.
That was an abrupt exit, Russ.
Sorry, it got to me for a minute.
Well, you've seen more difficult cases. They didn't throw you.
All right. This one got to me. Dr. Rossi, when I was alone with her, just before she fell, she screamed, "He is not my father."
That's when she tried to get away from you.
Yeah,
It isn't difficult to see the emotional basis of her symptoms, is it?
nothing physical. Nothing to do with the accident. It's an hysterical paralysis, isn't it?
Allison's present difficulties are emotionally caused, but that doesn't mean they're less real or less frightening to her.
But they don't come from the accident. She had this trouble with her father anyway, even before the car hit her. If there'd been no car, no driver...
What are you trying to prove?
Nothing. I'm just worried about her.
We all are.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me, Dr. Rossi.
District Attorney's office.
I want to talk to Mr. Fowler.
I'm afraid he's just stepped out of his office. May I ask who's calling?
Will he be gone for long?
I believe so, but he always checks in with me.
Well, tell him Russ Gehring called.
Who?
Gehring. He knows me.
Yes, sir.
Well, Stephen?
Quite a session.
Yes, I thought so.
I was surprised the judge permitted you to recall Stella.
Why?
Procedure?
Oh? Well, she had something to say, something relevant.
Well, she's endlessly inventive.
Look, Stephen, the client got hurt today. Tried to patch him up on cross, but it didn't work. Don't you think it's time you gave some thought to changing your plea?
I was wondering when you were going to bring that up. Frankly, you're a little late.
It's a wise counselor who knows when to throw in the towel.
You're feeling pretty good, aren't you?
I have a solid case, yes.
What would you do if I took you up on it?
Well, I'd invite you right into my office, see if we could agree.
You'd die, and you know it.
Really?
You're bluffing. Well, you'd look foolish making a deal. Now, months have gone by. If you wanted to save the taxpayers the expense of a long, drawn-out trial, you would have made this move a long time ago. You are bluffing. But I really don't blame you.
Call my bluff. Go ahead.
And chop my client up in the process? No thanks. Feel good, John. It's your privilege. Go back to your office and book yourself a ladies' club lunch, and you'll be a smash.